What is up, guys? This is your boy, Rick Cactus. Well, actually, it's not. It's just me, Old Light, again. Doing a really bad impersonation of Rick Cactus. But if you're there, Rick, give me a call. We can have some guy time, eat some cookies. That sounded a bit pervy, really, didn't it? But anyway, the build today is very simple and fun. The loop virtually runs itself. I used this Strand build for quite a while before I switched to that Void build that I uploaded the other day. Um, So let's give it a shot. And please, if you give me a like and a subscribe if you find this build fun or interesting or helpful. Give an old dude a break, man. So, yeah, like I said, it's a Strand build. So we'll start here with Needle Storm as a super ability because it's the only one we've got. It's got some grunt, but it's not the most powerful super, but it looks cool. Um, Healing Rift, for those that want to use Empowering Rift, go ahead, but I always use Healing Rift. Balanced Glide rather than, strong directional or strong initial boost of speed. I always use Balance just because I find it most comfortable for me. Arcane Needle because it's the only one we've got, but you won't be using that because you're going to sacrifice your melee for something else, which I'll talk about in a sec. And Threadling Grenade because this is a Threadling build. There's going to be threadlings fucking everywhere on the field, so threadling grenade. The aspects are Weaver's Call, which is where you activate your class ability, your Healing Rift, and you weave 3 threadlings and deploy any threadlings you have perched. So perched threadlings are ones that come back to you and just sort of hover around you waiting for you to aim at something else. And then any threadlings and those 3 threadlings that you weave just shoot out and attack anything that you're sort of aiming at. And also dealing damage and defeating targets generates more perched threadlings. So it's just a way to generate threadlings as part of this build. And that's a long press of your circle button, which is exactly the same as your healing rift. Obviously, you heal as well, because it's just adding to your healing rift like a buff. Weave walk. This is also your circle button, but you double press it, and it consumes your melee energy, and you enter the weave, which is sort of like this. You sort of float around the field with your legs off the ground. It's pretty cool. If you've already seen this, just ignore me. And you gain damage resistance from combatants. You reactivate your air dodge, by double pressing again, or cast your rift to exit the weave. And that generates woven mail for you and nearby allies as well. So woven mail is sort of like armor around you. It gives you about, I think, 45 to 65% damage resistance for about 10 seconds or so. And while in your weave, your melee energy is drained and you generate perched threadlings over time. So while you're in the weave, you can look on the left-hand side and you can see yourself generating 5 perched threadlings. And then they just sort of sit with you until you start attacking enemies. Yeah, so it's obviously a threadling build. And believe me, there can be anything up to about 16 threadlings at once, just flying around the arena, smashing stuff. It's very cool looking build and fairly easy to use, but it's not as easy as some of the other builds I've uploaded. It's a bit, you just got to get used to the loop a bit. But I'll explain that to you in a little while. The fragments are Thread of Warding, picking up more of a power grants woven mail. So again, that woven mail gives you some damage resistance because it's not the most tanky of a build. Your survivability is not as great as some of the other ones that I've uploaded. Thread of Rebirth. Strand weapon final blows have a chance to create a threadling, so more threadlings. Threadlings travel farther and deal additional damage, so you want them to deal as much damage as possible. And Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. So the more damage you do, the quicker your grenade comes back, and the more you can, throw out those threadlings again. Okay. So character stats, you need to get your grenade up as high as you can, and super probably a bit higher than what I've got there if you can as well. Up, if you get it up around 80, that would be great. It just increases the damage done by your super. It's not the most powerful super in the world, but yeah, that would help. And I've got fairly high weapon stat just to get that bit of extra damage, because, like I said, this isn't the best for survivability, and reload and handling increases as well. So yeah, you don't. Yeah, if you could get your health up a bit too, you can see how lazy I am with my character stats. Everything's low except my grenade and my bloody weapon damage. Um, okay, so mods: Strand Siphon, Rapid Strand Final Blows create orbs of power. So you need orbs of power so you can pick them up and get um, different buffs and so on. Ashes to assets gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. So that's pretty straightforward. And kinetic siphon, rapid kinetic weapon final blows create an orb of power. So that's another way, another one to get those orbs going. On your gauntlets, we've got strand loader, increases reload speed of strand weapons. I've got 2 strand weapons, so and neither of them reload particularly quickly. So that just uh, is an obvious description there. Momentum's transfer, causing damage to the grenade reduces your melee cooldown, so you get that melee back so you can go into the weave to get those threadlings. And bolstering detonation grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. So again, get your class ability, hit your class ability, and those threadlings that you have perched, and those 3 threadlings that it generates. Can be used against the enemies that you've got that you're aiming at. Okay, so chest armor. You can put any of the resistance mods on here depending on who you're fighting. You might have solar resistance if you've got, dudes that have solar powers. And also I've got a strand ammo generator, increases the ammo generation of strand weapons. So again, you've got 2 strand weapons. It's not as much survivability as some of the other builds, so it's good to have your weapons loaded up at all times. And then we've got swarmers as our exotic. Now, destroying a tangle spawns a threadling. That's pretty straightforward. But your threadlings unravel targets that they damage. Now, unravel is sort of like it causes damage and sometimes kills ads, but you'll see it when I show you the demonstration. But little sort of threads fly out and home in on other enemies, and once they get hit by them, they get unravel, and then same thing happens again. So you've got these threads flying around in the air all over the place doing damage as well. So very cool. It's a very cool looking thing with green stuff happening everywhere. Yeah, so in your leg arm, you've got better already. Your health begins to generate immediately after you pick up an orb of power. So you're throwing orbs of power, you pick them up, and you get your health regenerate. Innovation reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power, self-explanatory. And reduces all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. So again, self-explanatory. Oops, just did that. Okay, so grenade mod. Already don't need to explain that. Bomber reduces grenade cooldown when using a glass ability. So using your class ability, so your rift will reduce your grenade cooldown. Sorry, my stamina kicking in now. Powerful attraction automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability, so it sucks them in, so you pick up those orbs. And distribution reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets, which you'll probably be doing when you panic. See, because of your lack of survivability, you can go into the weave if you're if your health's low, and just stay in there for 5 seconds or so while the threadlings generate, the perk threadlings, and you can get some of your health back. So it's handy for that. You can just sort of escape for a minute. Yep. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm just going to go to a lost sector on the EDZ because there's a lot of enemies in there in a small area, so it's just easier to sort of demonstrate. So we'll give that a shot. EDZ, or EDZ if you're from Australia, where we are. Okay, the Gulch. Alright. So the next build that I'm going to show will be a hunter build, and I'm no expert on hunters. I'm Warlock main, but the hunter build is a beauty. I've only just seen it. It's been around a little while too, like all of these have in various iterations. And you're virtually invisible the whole time that you're using this build. It's very cool. I've just got used to the jump again though. That every time you jump really drives me fucking nuts. This shit happens. Okay, so we'll just go down here to the lost sector. Yeah, just put a big gun in front of me, smash into. Okay, so I'm just going to throw my grenade. So you might have seen this throwing grenade before, but as I go in here, and then I'll hit my healing rift, and you can see the generated threadlings. Okay, so grenade. I'll go up here to demonstrate the... Okay, so there you go, you can see the threadlings taken off there. Yep. Okay, so I'm getting hit a bit here, so go into the weave, double press. Now you can see on the left it generates those threadlings. Double press again to get out of there. And then when you shoot anything, especially with a strand weapon, you can see those threads going out there, see? And hitting unravel. And also if you shoot I got my grenade back. There you go. Get the big guy. Hit your rift again. Bam. So you see he got hit by quite a few then because I had some perch threadlings as well as the 3 that shot up. And you can see the threads coming off there when they're unraveled. There you go. Grenades back. Anything over here to get? No, not really. Okay. These guys. The rift again. Grenade. Get into the weave. Get some threadlings. Use a strand weapon. There we go. There's not many left to show you. Yeah, so it's good against ads and maybe some slightly tankier enemies, but also it does, if you get enough threadlings going, it will do damage to bosses and mini bosses. You just got to finish them off with your super or whatever. I'll just do that once more so you can see what I mean again. Should have used my little thing. I love these hoverboard things. So cool, man. Alright. Okay. There's my rift. With those threadlings there. You can see the threads from being unraveled just shooting around there. There they go again up there, you see? Okay, grenade. Going to weave. And you see that gives you a little bit of damage resistance there, or quite a bit. Okay, got my threadling. So you can see all the threads that come up from unravel. I've got my grenade and my rift back again. Yeah, see those little threads going off from unravel? That's pretty much it. I'm not real good at shooting and talking, so I'm not probably describing this the best, but you get the idea. Yeah, there you go. So really fun, lots of threadlings, looks cool. Little bit of more of a loop that you have to get the hang of: throwing a grenade, casting your rift, getting into the weave, using your strand weapons to get the unravel, or one of the ways to get the unravel, and then the threads going out and killing all the enemies around. Yeah, so there you go. If you found this informative or fun, please give me a like, or even a subscription would be great. I don't get a lot of people looking at these videos, but my aim at the moment is to go slowly, so I'm going to try for 300 views, and that would be a good start. So thanks for watching. Give me a like, and if you're there, Rick Carcass, give me a call, bruv. I love you, man.